Hello, Divine Ones. Welcome. Today the guides are going to be sharing a message, and they're going to be sharing this transmission, and it is called Uprising Consciousness. And they wish to talk about the fifth dimension, what you would call New Earth, the transition, and what does it look like to be in the New Earth, on the New Earth. They say that they would rather say in, because it is in a vibrational frequency. Some of you are wondering, what does life look like here? What does it mean to be like enlightened, realized? And there are big concepts, and they will span over more than one message. However, today we will discuss this, this new earth and the rising of consciousness, and the transition of like what you would call now, and transitioning through this evolution, this uprising. We call it uprising because it is rising up in frequency. So, dear ones, let us harmonize energy first for the greatest good of this message. Whenever you are receiving it, like what you would call now or later, they're saying generations to come. Okay. So whenever you are receiving this, it is for your highest good. We speak in two ways for you. We speak in language and we meet you where you are. And we speak through the lens of Diane and the things that I know and the things that I have experienced. We speak through this. And we speak to you at different times in different ways based on your frequency and based on what is necessary at the time. We know that some of you have a lot of curious questions. Piles and piles of questions, and we hope to answer them. But more than we hope to answer them, we hope to move with you beyond the need to even answer the questions in this way, because you may know. What is yours to know? You think you know a lot, but you will need to relinquish all knowings, intellect, all ripples of the mind, regardless of what they are, and regardless of how high or mighty you believe them to be, how holy you believe them to be, they will need to be released for the realization of truth, the realization of the divine you, the divinity that is you. Some of you would like to say, I am this, I am that, and we will assure you that while you think you are this or that, you are actually divinity. Now, one thing that we wish to say today, before we get started, some of you believe that you are less than, that you are nothing, that you are not worthy. And we assure you that you are divinity and worthy of all things, all great things. And not only are you worthy of all great things spring forth from you. This is the greatest misconception. The greatest misconception is that you are not divine. This greatest misconception is, even if we say like a you are source, so how we have said this before, that you are source in form, and we have used these statements like I am that I am, and you might have heard this statement many times in many ways from different people. We would say that it is an accurate statement. I am that I am, I am, without any other verbiage after it, which means means that you are all things. Now this is one way. And today we bring through a different concept, a different way of shining the light upon something. You are like a diamond. There are many fractals and ways in which you can know yourself. However, while you are dazzled by the diamond, insistent upon its worth, we say that you are the field, the energy field, or the source of the diamond. So you are not the diamond itself. You see how in a previous message we said, you believe you are like a dirty pile of socks. Now today we say you are like the diamond. We change it around. And we do not wish you to get conflicted and think, am I a dirty pile of socks? Am I a diamond? You are none of these things. You are beyond them. You are like the field of energy in which the diamond exists. And we will have a longer message about this. But today we will say, there are many different ways that you may look at self, that you may think about yourself. And none of them is accurate. And we know that you think that they are. So we wish to say that there is a grander expression of you. And when we say these things, like I am that I am that I am, or there is a grander expression of you, you still may think that it's you that are the you. And it's so what we mean by this is the small self or the personality self. And like we have said before, is it fair for you to say that I am God? You come from a source, and you are indeed part of the source, as we have said many times in previous messages. But we wish you to plant a seed today. And we will come back to it at a different time, at a later time, what you would call time. So we will come back to it at a later time. But let's plant the seed today, and perhaps you will be in receptivity to considering it, for your consideration. And this is the concept. Instead of saying, I am God, which can be very triggering and resistant for some people to say, I am God. Some might wish to say, I am one with God. And we would like to know how this lands for you when you consider it beyond this message. Instead of, I am God, God is me. And see what the shift is in the perception and the feeling that you receive instead of saying, I am God, versus I am one with God, versus God is me. And it's is that right? Yes. Yes. God is me. And eventually we wish you to move beyond all of these words and language and thoughts into knowing. And this knowing is that you are of God. God is you. And we know it may be hard to believe, but this does not mean that you are holier than, that you are high and mighty. Because when you know your true worth, your true essence, your true divinity, you know the true worth and divinity of all, and it is equal. Equal sign, like two lines, equal. And we will say this, and how you would say this, like from childhood, you could have like stamped it, locked it, no erases. Like that's from my childhood. And they say it like this: stamped it, locked it, no erases. Everything is equal. And right now you have inequality. And this is changing. So let us harmonize now. You say yes and we say yes. And together we create a perfect harmony. So why? And it's because why not? It's all we can do. Is create together this perfect harmony in truth, in the divinity of light and love. All is light, all is love. You may hold nothing outside of this, because whatever you hold outside of light and love, you are outside of light and love. You understand? If you wish to take something outside of light and you wish to take something outside of love, you have taken it outside, and then you are no longer in alignment with it. Although you are always it, you are not in alignment with it. And this is where it gets twisted. We know. So I'm telling them, what about the harmonization? Because they're talking and they're now going again, and I'm doing this thing with them, and they're like, we know. And it's because there is a difference between these two things. Because alignment with you are always light and love. Light and love is you. Is part of you. Everything is light. Nothing is dark. But things may manifest as what could be perceived as dark. And some of you may not like this message because you like something concrete, because you like to say there is this and there is that. But at its true essence, there is only one. There can only be one, in which you are a part of. And there is no separation. So if there is dark and there is light, it is one thing, which is light. And in light, there is only love. So nothing else resides here. There is no jealousy. There is no fear here. And none of these things are here. Though, on the energy of light, things that may appear as dark may be manifested, but it is not the fault of God. Some of you shake your fist to the sky. If there was a loving God, why would a loving God do such a thing? Because there is not a God in the way that you perceive God to be. A man in the sky that doles out rewards and punishment. This doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. There is not a devil with a pitchfork and a gate and horns waiting for you somewhere. When you leave this physical body, this is so beautiful. When you leave this physical body, there is nothing but a grand, it's so beautiful. There is nothing but a grand welcoming. It is so welcoming. And there's no fear here. And they really wish to express this for those that are worried about leaving their body and leaving life, that there's no fear. It's so beautiful. Oh my gosh. I can't even now. Now I have to do this in this video because it's just so beautiful. There's nothing here to fear. But if you believe there is something here for you to fear, you may find it, but just realize it is of your own creation. It is not inherently existent somewhere, like on a map where you are going to find hell somewhere, the same way you're not going to find heaven somewhere. But the qualities of this may exist, but they exist in your mind. What is hell? So one could say it is living the experience that you are currently living when you are in the denial of the fact that you are divine and all is God, all is of God, all is of source, all is of divinity. However you want to label this, it does not matter. It matters not. Label it as you wish. As we've said, it's beyond labels. Any way you slice it, dice it, serve it, there is just one truth, and everything is part of it. And there is no There is no hell. And some of you wish to use fear, especially within religions. Use fear as a way to motivate. And we're not going to talk about this a lot today, but we will say that fear is not a motivator. It never has been and never will be. And even if you try to use fear as a way to control people, even if you think it is for their highest good, we assure you that it's not. Because the only thing fear does is create more fear. So even if you have somebody that feels fearful about a hell that they may go to and a punishing God, what will happen is they may take an action that you feel is right action. But please remember, as you feel it is right action, that is your perception. And your perception is skewed by your template, your conditioning. And it is not in truth. And you are trying to tell somebody, this is the way that you should behave. Or you will go to this place that is very damning, and you will meet a very scary fate. And so they may do 12 Hail Marys or any kind of penance type of thing that they're showing me here, cleansing, smudging, rituals, whatever. You can do whatever you want. And it matters not. If you're doing it out of a feeling of obligation because you feel fearful that when you die, you're going to hell or some other place that is horrible, while you are doing this action, you are sowing the seeds of more fear. You might say, I am doing something very virtuous as I do this thing to relieve myself from all of the things that I have done. I have done many things and I wish to relieve myself of all of these things and the negative karma around these things. So I'm going to do all these different, they're saying tasks, rituals, holy things you think that are going to cleanse you. You're already cleansed. You are already forgiven. There is nothing that you can do that can stain you. It is a false self that you are cleansing. And you see the false self is a structure. You believe it is a person, but it is a structure. The personality is a structure, and we wish to talk about it in this way, as a structure, because when you are in a firm belief that this is who you are, then you incur even more karma, even more seeds that you are planting. And there is nothing to fear. There is no monster under the bed. We understand that you perceive things as dark, you experience them as this. And you have things that you would call challenges, and they're hard, and we do not deny this. We do not deny any part of the human experience. We say take it all, and it is the kindling, as we said many times, of transformation, and it also is the springboard. They're showing me like a diving board that bounces a lot. It's a springboard. And you might be very fearful to stand at the edge of the diving board and make the leap. Because everything you knew was back down on land. And when you make this jump, like the 5D jump, when you make this jump, there is a period of time when you bounce and you go flying, which is exhilarating and terrifying at the same time. And you are in this state where there is a complete unknowing, and it is exhilarating and terrifying. Who's it terrifying to? The small self, because it has nothing that it can relate to anymore. All the structures that have been created through the personality self, the template that has been born through ignorance, the denial of divinity, the denial of not a God, the man in the sky, but one a source that you could call God. We'll use this word today. The denial of this in all things. You have carved it out and replaced it with I'm talking to them because their first word is they're going to say nonsense, and I'm now like asking them for a different word. Because of course I think like that's offensive, and they're saying no, because some of this stuff is nonsense. It is nonsense that you are not divine. It is nonsense that there is a fiery place that you are going to go to, where you are going to be eternally damned. This does not exist. But for those that believe it, they may experience it. But it will be again of their own doing. It will not be of a punishing person, a punishing God, a punishing anything that does this. There is not a smiting God. This doesn't exist. There is love. But there are many manifestations that appear in different ways that might appear dark for different reasons. And you think that those reasons are bad, maleficent reasons, and they're just telling me like just go with it. Like, so I'm like, okay. And it's like you think that they are like so I'm still arguing with them. Like I'm still like, what's another word? What's it? And they're just saying to me like to move out of the way. And they say it very lovingly. Because you think that there is this smite. You think that God is doing something to you. And God manifests in many ways for many, many reasons. And even though something may appear very dark, as we've said many times, always it is light. And now is the time for the light to be reknown. While it is always known, internal knowing, it is time for it to be reknown. For all things to be reknown, as of light, as of divinity, as of God, as of one, as of source, as of unity. No separation. Okay, now we harmonize. You say yes and we say yes. Your heart, our heart, one heartbeat. Plays one song of truth, one song of divinity. So that can be heard beyond ears, beyond even your idea of what hearing is. So this song can be heard because it is known. What is true is always true, can never not be true. And the song of truth can always be known. It can always be heard. Even to the ones that are asleep, who do not wish to hear, they still may hear it. Why? Because they are one with it. You cannot escape anything. And some of you have a feeling like you would like to escape. And there is not an escape. There is an embrace. And through this embrace, there is a great comfort that comes. And we embrace you now. Wherever you are, however you are, and as you are receiving this message, as you are feeling like you might need to escape from something, escape from your life, escape from your circumstances, escape from the people, the places, the things, escape from the frequency, escape from the war, escape from the landscape that you see before you. You need not escape. You may embrace. And in this embrace, there is a great comfort. So we will tell you now that there is an uprising consciousness. And while it will feel like you are under under construction for quite some time. At the end, there will be a shiny new earth. We say it like this just momentarily. We will expand, but we say it like this: because though you may wish to try to drown out the painful feelings, and be afraid of what you see happening before you and happening within you, and the changes that are happening within you, and like your physical body changes and the different feelings that you're having, like waking up in the night and feeling afraid, waking up in the night and feeling panic, waking up in the night and having feelings of like sadness and worry, and they're telling me to share with you this experience that I have also had, and I am not currently having it. I have had it, and it felt awful. And I was waking up in the night, and as soon as I was awake, like even as I was coming out of sleep, it was like this heartbreak. It was so, I could feel it physically in my body, like physical heartache. And also I felt so sad, and I was so confused. I was like, what is this? What is this? And guys are talking to me now. And I was like, am I feeling other people? And because I feel everything. So I'm like saying it like that because when you're open to feeling, then you feel so much, right? And so I feel everything, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I feeling? Who am I feeling? What is this? Is this past life? What are these things that are coming up? Why is this happening? And I was having all these thoughts about it and trying to analyze it and do all this with it. And then I just started waking up and just, instead of trying to label it good or bad or what it was, I was just like, okay, this is just what is. I was just waking up with what is and just allowing it to dissipate, and just allowing it to arise and dissipate. And eventually it stopped. And I was just so distraught, really, with trying to analyze it and trying to ask other people like what this was. And, I wasn't coming up with answers. I was just like, what is it? And then finally I was just like, I'm just going to embrace it. And I'm not going to label it. It's not good or bad. I'm just going to let this feeling flow through me until it stops flowing through me. And eventually it stopped waking me up. I stopped waking up with this panic, with these feelings. And I'm happy that I'm sharing this with you today, like that this is coming through. It's unexpected, but I'm happy I'm sharing this with you today in case you're also feeling these things at this time, because I was. And I was having just like a panic in the night where I would wake up and, oh my gosh, I thought I couldn't breathe. And I actually just had to go outside. I was like, am I going to die right now? I don't even know if I'm going to die right now. And it might sound dramatic, but I was just such a panic, and nothing got me there. I just woke up and there I was. I was just like mid panic. I was like, can't breathe. And then it was just like, oh my gosh, am I going to die? And I ran outside and I put my whole body up against the bricks. It was winter. I put my body up against the bricks, and I was just eventually calmed down. But I woke up with really like feeling like negative feelings, and really like heartbreak feelings, and afraid, and a lot of stuff. And I just stopped trying to analyze it. I stopped trying to analyze it because the more I analyzed it, the more distressed I became, and the more that I continued to cycle it. And eventually I just embraced it until it stopped. Until it stopped. I embraced it until it stopped. Oh my gosh. And I'm just having like my own realization now too. And I'm just thinking about this in so many different ways, but I'm going to go back to the guides now and let them talk. And they were talking about embracing. I don't remember the rest of what they were saying. So let me just go back in here. And let me just go back in and see what they're going to say about this now. You cannot escape, but you may embrace. You are always trying to escape each other. But we are one. So you cannot do this. That doesn't mean that you cannot have your boundary and say no thank you, friend, to someone that is harming you. And we say that even what you call boundaries now will change in the evolution, the consciousness rising in 5D. And on your way through this transition, this will change also. The divine that is you and as you may choose to leave a situation. We have said this many times. You may be in love with someone, you may be in relationship with someone, and you may love them deeply. Deeply. And you may say no thank you. And no thank you, friend. I am not here for this today. And there is a difference, we've said many times, between being or exercising caution and a discernment versus worry. And when you label something from a small self perspective in relationships, when you label someone to be a certain way, we've talked about the narcissist before, when you label someone to be this way, and you harbor a story about them, and you retell that story in your mind, and you retell it to your friends, you lower your vibration, and you pull a what is this, like a cover, they're showing me curtains. You close the curtains on the truth of who you are, and you may do it all you like for as long as you feel it necessary. If such a situation is to arise as consciousness is rising now, you might call it awakening, we call it a rising of vibration. As consciousness is rising, you may still encounter the narcissist, or that you deem to be the narcissist. We assure you that in their true state, they are divinity, and they are not a narcissist. This doesn't sugarcoat their actions. It acknowledges them in the truth of which they are. And this is what does the change. Your damning of people and condemning, is the right word, like putting them behind prison bars, all of these things does nothing but create more of the same. We said this about fear, we say this about everything. Whatever you do, you're creating more of the same. That's it. It's like on a repeat. So in this vibration of truth, we recognize all to be in this way. And if you hold on to the story of a narcissist, you will create a life around this. Understand this, please. So if you hold on to a story of this person is a narcissist, this person is bad for whatever their reason is, whatever their reason is, whatever they have done to you, and you may hold your story as long as you like. We're not telling you what to do, but we do say this. If you insist on holding the story, not only do you close the curtain on your divinity, you close the curtain on theirs too. We do not say that you celebrate their behavior. We say that their true divinity, their true worth, that they are just as worthy as you. And if you are to say that God is me, I am God, or I am one with God, any of these types of statements, I am, that means that all is, including the narcissist. So, there is no escape. There is only unity. There is only an embrace. And again, you may leave a situation like the situation of the narcissist, and as you are uprising in consciousness, the way that you leave this situation is very graceful. I bid you good day. Good day, sir. Good day, madam. Good day. It's very graceful. It is the divine aspect of you does not have the requirement for this storyline anymore, for this person, for this pain, for this situation. The divinity that is you and as you doesn't hold the requirement for this. And therefore may say, no, thank you. Anisio koroso chia karasate kia nai siakai. Siakai nai sai kiria sokoro shokuri siakarasakia. Anito korose chia karasakia. Ani sokorate kenese kerasa korese keresa. Okay. Ini koroso chikiriete kerasa chikarasa. So they are going to continue to talk about rising consciousness. Inia karasa chikoro, but they're going to do it in a separate video. Inia karasa chikoroto korasa chikarasa, because we wish you to like take this bite, iokoroto karasa takarasa, and allow it to like a percolate, like a coffee. Iokoroto takarasa chikara, and settle. Iokoroso chikarasa, and we will continue this. And we wish, so this will be spaced apart. Like how I will put a video on like a Monday, Sunday. No, not Monday, Sunday. On Wednesday and Sunday, depending on your time zone. And how I usually will do that. They're showing me this is how they would like it. So is this going to be the end of this? Yes, but we will continue it. So we wish for the concepts that we have stated so far to percolate and settle. And then we will continue to talk about consciousness rising 5D, this transition, the construction, and what it looks like to be like a 5D being. We've already alluded to this right now. When we say to you that in a realized state or in a higher level of consciousness, embodied in an embodied state, embodied of your true state, in an embodied state, the divine that is you, and may still see the sights before them be like challenging. Like as you arise in consciousness, you might see challenges and have challenges. But you don't have a story anymore, and you don't have the requirements for the story. There's no requirements for a victimhood. There is no requirements for so many things. And we will talk about it next time. But we leave you with this. And we leave you in love. Okay, thank you to the guides, and thank you. This was so most unexpected today. And they're going to continue with me right away, right now. But they want this split. Into two. And maybe three. This is going to be a big one. They wish this to percolate. Thank you so much. And thank you to the guides for this. They're saying, you don't have to thank us. They're saying to me, you don't have to thank us. We're not done. They still have lots to say. So I'll see you in the next message. And as always, I'm sending you so much. We're sending you so much love. Thank you.